Welcome to the ICE podcast, supported by the US Soybean Export Council, an initiative to enable the cold chain industry of India to be future ready.
It is my pleasure to introduce the speaker of today's talk, Harshal Surange. Harshal Surange is a director and CEO of ACR Project Consultants Private Limited, Pune, which is into cold chain and HVACR consulting since 1971. The company has been promoting the green cold chain concept at a global level. With a total experience of more than 20 years in the industry, Harshal has handled 250 odd cold chain projects across the country. Harshal is empaneled with the World Food Logistics Organization and the Asian Development Bank as a cold chain expert and works on specific projects with them. He has also worked on USAID funded projects in Afghanistan as a cold chain expert. Harshal has been recently appointed on several committees, one of them being the ASHRAE USA Refrigeration Committee. Harshal has been awarded the prestigious Bry Air Award in 2009 for excellence in system design, the Emerson Cup for refrigeration design at Southeast Asia level in 2010. He was the recipient of the Best Green Cold Chain Solutions Award in 2017, awarded the Certificate of Honor by the Global Cold Chain Alliance GCCA in 2017, and more recently, he was the recipient of the RefCold Emerson Award for the Most Innovative Refrigeration Design for Food Processing Sector given at the International RefCold India event. He is a founder president of IIAR Western India chapter, and he is the past president of ISHRE Pune chapter. He's been actively involved with National Horticulture Board for various assignments, including preparation of the standards, imparting training to engineers as well as cold storage owners and operators all over India. He has been recognized as the resource person and trainer by the National Horticulture Board. Over to you, Harshal, for your talk.
A big hello to all the listeners. Welcome to this podcast. The topic of this podcast is the components of a robust cold chain design. We've seen in the earlier podcast the different routes of cold chain. However, all of these routes need one common factor, that is a robust cold chain. Now, what do we mean by a robust cold chain? A robust cold chain is one where the design is right. Now, what do we mean by the design is right? There are multiple factors which can be considered when we are talking of right design. But the key ones which we talk in cold chain is one where the temperature inside the chamber is maintained at the right spot, which is within the given parameters. Second important thing is the humidity inside the chamber also is within the given parameters. Remember always, temperature and humidity go hand in hand for any cold chain facility, and when we talk of temperature, along with that we should always consider humidity as a key factor which is to be looked at for the condition inside a chamber. Now, why do we need to look at both temperature and humidity? Is because every product, every perishable product has its own sweet spot, which will give the longest life in controlled conditions, at the same time have a good post-storage life. So when a product is stored inside a store, it will have a good life, and after it is removed from the store also, it gives enough time for the product to go to the market and be sold and get consumed. A cold chain, remember, does not improve product quality. It only attempts to keep it as close to what it was when it came in. So we are not improving the quality, we are trying to maintain it as best as the level at which it came in. So it's proverbially garbage in, garbage out. So if you are going to put in a bad product, you cannot get a good product at the end of it. If it's a bad product, it's going to be a bad product. If it's a good product, it's going to remain, or as far as possible, we try to keep it good. Now, coming back to what we mean by right design. So there are multiple things that go into a right design. First one I would say is where the layout itself is right, the layout of the facility, the layout of the cold chain facility is right, where the product flow is optimized to have minimal movement of material, product coming in to the store and going out of the store, if its travel is minimal, that would be a right layout. If you are talking of a pack house, then it's also important, along with minimal flow of material, to have unidirectional flow of product. The incoming product does not have connection with the outgoing product, it does not cross each other. That is important. Along with that, where is your machine room placed? It has to be in the right position to have optimum and minimum logical refrigerant piping. Your chamber sizes need to be right. Depending on the product, you can have large chambers, small chambers. It all depends on what is it that you're looking for in your cold chain or cold storage facility. Whether you are talking of bulk stores, then you have larger chambers. When you have multi-purpose stores, you're having smaller chambers. Remember always that if you keep a large chamber and have less amount of product, then you are going to be spending more energy in running the same chamber. So always having an optimal size of chamber is important. The insulation needs to be right, the right thickness, the right material, which part of the chamber you're looking at, whether you're insulating the walls, the ceiling, the floor. There have to be good insulation, there has to be a proper vapor barrier. After that, the refrigeration system, you don't need to say more about refrigeration system. It is the heart of the entire cold chain. So refrigeration system design has to be right. It's not like buying a refrigerator off the shelf. Remember that. You have to make sure that your system is designed properly. In fact, today even refrigerator off the shelf have a star rating. So you know that if it's a 5-star rated refrigerator, it is essentially going to be consuming less energy. Your entire cold storage is a very large system, and that needs to have the right refrigeration system design. Beyond that, in the refrigeration system, whether you have energy saving methods, VFDs, or variable frequency drives, strip curtains, water recyclings, there are so many more things that we can talk of. In fact, recently I gave a 3-hour long training session on something similar to this, and I still just touched upon the concepts. So rather than going too much into detail, by doing all this, or by having the right design, what is it that we are trying to achieve? The right parameters at the right or the most optimal energy consumption. Eventually it's the energy consumption, that's where your entire cold chain facility or a robust cold chain facility is one that is going to give you the right parameters at the most optimal and lowest energy consumption. The initial cost of a cold chain project, if you see, is a very small percentage compared to what you spend on energy over the life cycle of the project. So you can easily have a system with similar parameters which is consuming much more power than a good design system. You could have it 20% higher, it could be 1.5 times higher, it could be even 2 times higher than a badly designed system. So you have to understand that a system has to always be properly designed for the most optimal power consumption, and that's where you define a robust system. And finally, I would like to end here saying, as a key suggestion to all stakeholders, whoever wants to get into cold chain, if you need to spend a little more initially on a good design, professional, on a good design, independent designer, please make sure you do that, because in the long run, that's what is going to really help you in your facility. All the best and best wishes to ICE for this great new venture of having podcasts. Thank you and have a good day.